If you just fiddle around, you'll get nowhere. Try slashing from different sides. Unpredictability is the key. Never repeat yourself.
In a world where magic doesn't exist, your choices matter more than ever. That's the essence of Kingdom Come Deliverance. A game that sets itself apart from traditional RPGs by ditching the fantasy element and immersing players in a gritty, historical accurate world of 15th century Bohemia. Warhorse Studios didn't just build a world, they recreated a past. A past where dragons aren't the enemies, but rather human ambition, plague, and war rule the land. A past where every stone on the road has a story, every village has a life, and every quest is about survival, not heroism. This isn't your typical RPG. This is a meticulously crafted journey through a world teetering on the edge of history. And if you're looking for a game that lets you be part of that world, warts and all, Kingdom Come Deliverance might be exactly what you're looking for. When you step into the world of Kingdom Come Deliverance, you're not just stepping into a fantasy world filled with magic and mythical creatures. You're entering a real-world setting grounded in historical accuracy where the biggest threat isn't an orc horde, but the very human forces of war, politics, and social strife. The game takes place in 1403, a war-torn Bohemia, an area that Warhorse Studios has meticulously recreated. There is no procedurally generated landscape here. Every field, every house, every castle is designed with purpose. The villages are where they should be, the roads are long and winding, and the layouts of towns mirrors real medieval layouts. Bohemia itself is practically a character in its own right, carefully structured with buildings that look as if they were pulled from medieval blueprints. The villagers' homes aren't filled with arcane trinkets or mystical relics, but simple furniture and tools, designed to reflect the struggles of day-to-day medieval life. You won't find a magical item store here, but you will find the hard work of peasants, sowing crops, repairing fences, and dealing with the cold reality of medieval survival. At first glance, Kingdom Come Deliverance might look like a serene, beautiful game, and for the most part it is. The world is stunning, powered by CryEngine, with landscapes that make you want to stop and take it all in. The forests are dense, the fields are expansive, and the sun's golden rays during sunrise or sunset can make you forget you're in a world at war. But then, as you wander through the world, reality kicks in. The plague has ravaged these lands. Abandoned villages and fields bear the scars of disease and destruction. Burned buildings and gallows tell of the bloody conflicts that have torn Bohemia apart. The world is gorgeous, but it's not kind. It's a world where beauty and brutality exist side by side. What truly makes Bohemia feel alive, though, is the game's approach to travel. There is no fast travel system that lets you instantly jump from one place to another, unless you want to risk ambush. Instead, you'll be encouraged to explore on foot or horseback, with each journey carrying weight and risk. This design choice forces you to learn the land, find your way through dense forests, and use the landscape to your advantage. The world is not huge, but every inch is deliberate, each path carved by history itself. What makes KCD feel truly immersive, though, isn't just its world building, it's the NPCs. In most RPGs, NPCs are static. They stand around, waiting for you to engage with them. In Deliverance, NPCs have their own routines. They wake up at dawn, go about their daily chores, and gather at taverns at night. Each NPC is a piece of a larger societal puzzle. Blacksmiths forge swords, innkeepers serve drinks, and peasants tend to crops. But beyond that, NPCs have personalities shaped by the world around them. They hold opinions, fears, and biases influenced by their environment. This makes conversation with NPCs more than just a way to get quests or trade goods. They're a window into medieval life, revealing the societal pressures and realities that shape people in this tumultuous time. The game's reputation system also plays a huge role in these interactions. If you've been acting like a ruffian, you'll be treated like one. Guards will hassle you and villagers will avoid you. But if you've been honorable, doors open a little bit easier. You aren't just a hero on a grand adventure, you're part of a living, breathing world. Now let's talk about the quests. If you're looking for epic quests that involve slaying dragons or saving kingdoms, Kingdom Come Deliverance isn't for you. The quests here focus on the mundane struggles of medieval life. An early quest sees you helping a miller recover debt for townsfolk, a task that might involve negotiation, persuasion, or if you feel cheeky, threats of violence. Other quests may require you to investigate crimes or solve disputes between villages. These quests might not seem grand, but that's what makes them so engaging. They're grounded in reality, reflecting the sort of work that someone in Henry's shoes would really do. There is no try to glamorize medieval life. Instead, it pulls you into the harsh realities of it. You'll deal with disease, poverty, and the aftermath of war. Some quests have no clear solution, forcing you to make tough, morally grey choices that feel authentic to the setting. There are no easy answers, only consequences. One of the most interesting features of Kingdom Come Deliverance is its treatment of horses. In most games, horses are just a means of getting from point A to point B, but in Deliverance, your horse is a partner. Each horse has unique traits. Some are fast, others are sturdy, and some are downright stubborn. Horseback riding isn't just about getting across the map, it's an experience in itself. The physics and animations make horses feel real, like living creatures. You'll need to take care of them, make sure they're rested, and even manage their inventory. Riding through forests, crossing rocky terrain, and galloping across open fields all feel incredibly immersive. Your horse isn't just a tool, it's a companion. Then there's the game's pace. Kingdom Come Deliverance isn't a game that holds your hand. There is no GPS and no helpful map with glowing lines. You'll need to use your wits, talk to the locals, and read maps to find your way. This might be frustrating for those used to modern conveniences, but for those who are willing to engage, it's rewarding. Each journey is meaningful. Every discovery feels earned. You're not following a checklist or objectives, you're navigating a world where every turn is part of the larger intricate puzzle. In a market saturated with fantasy RPGs, KCD offers something different. It's a game grounded in reality, offering a medieval world that feels alive, dangerous, and full of stories. It's a game that rewards patience, exploration, and willingness to embrace the harshness of the world it's built. Warhorse Studios has created a world that doesn't cater to the modern gaming conventions. It's challenging, immersive, and relentlessly authentic. If you're looking for an open world experience that doesn't pull its punches, Kingdom Come Deliverance offers something truly unique. Just don't try and be the hero. Instead, expect to be part of a world that has its own stories to tell, and where your actions matter more than any dragon you might slay. At the start of Kingdom Come Deliverance, Henry is far from the type of protagonist you might expect in an RPG. He's not a nobleman or an heir to a kingdom, he's just a regular blacksmith's son living in the village of Skalitz. The game wastes no time pulling the rug from under him, as the peaceful routine of village life is shattered by an invasion of King Sigismund of Hungary. Unlike the stereotypical villainous monarchs of fantasy RPGs, Sigismund is rooted in real history, a conqueror whose ambition knows no bounds. He lays waste to Skalitz, killing countless innocents and setting the stage for Henry's transformative journey. The tragedy is personal. Henry's family is slaughtered before his eyes, and the young man is left with nothing but an overwhelming need for vengeance and the burning desire to avenge his loved ones. However, unlike the traditional RPG hero, Henry isn't a trained warrior. He's a grieving son that has no idea how to even wield a sword, let alone fight in an army. The game does not glamorize revenge or make it feel like a heroic quest. Instead, it presents Henry's struggles as raw and unrelenting. The player is forced to feel every moment of grief, every failure, and every stumble as Henry tries to come to terms with this new reality. Henry's journey doesn't begin with him donning armor and charging into battle. Instead, he finds himself seeking refuge in Talmberg, a town whose lord, Davish, offers him a place to stay. It's here that Henry begins to grasp the wider political stakes at play. Bohemia is at the brink of collapse, torn apart by Sigismund's invasion and the ineffectiveness of King Wenceslaus IV. Davish, though sympathetic, is no fool. He doesn't have the resources nor the power to openly defy Sigismund. Instead, he takes Henry in as a man with potential, someone who can learn and grow, but only if he is willing to face the grim realities of the world he now inhabits. The game doesn't take the easy route when it comes to Henry's development. This isn't a quick training montage with fast results. Instead, Warhorse Studios insists that every skill Henry acquires, from sword fighting to horse riding, feels like a long, painful process. Each new skill is earned. Combat, for example, is clumsy and awkward at first, but through repetition and hardship, Henry and you improve. It's a slow, grueling climb, but that's what makes the eventual mastery feel well earned. One of the standout characters in Kingdom Come Deliverance is Sir Radzik, a lord loyal to the rightful king, Wenceslaus. He's a mentor figure for Henry, but not in the typical RPG sense. Radzik isn't there to coddle Henry or give him an easy answer. Instead, he sees potential in the young man, but also knows that Henry's grief and anger can be harnessed for a larger cause. Radzik provides Henry with the training and the resources he needs, but he also challenges him, forcing him to think about the bigger picture beyond personal vengeance. This dynamic between Henry and Radzik forms the emotional core of the story. Radzik becomes a father figure to Henry, though one who is far from soft. He teaches Henry not just how to fight, but also how to think strategically, how to lead, and how to manage his rage. Radzik isn't there to guide Henry through the ups and downs of life. He's there to help Henry grow into the man capable of fighting for something greater than himself. It's a tough love relationship, but it's what pushes Henry forward, through failure, frustration, and eventually to growth. As Henry's journey unfolds, one of the most personal and powerful arcs comes with his pursuit of Runt, the mercenary responsible for the raid on Skalitz. Runt isn't just a faceless enemy. He's the physical embodiment of everything Henry has lost. His cruelty and brutishness make him the perfect target for Henry's rage. As Henry faces off against Runt, it's not just about fighting a villain, it's about confronting his own anger and the price of vengeance. This slow build-up to the final confrontation with Runt is a masterclass in pacing. The game forces players to sit with Henry's rage, making the eventual victory over Runt deeply satisfying yet bittersweet. By this point, Henry has realized that vengeance alone won't heal the wounds of his past. Runt's death doesn't bring his family back, nor does it fix the fractured state of Bohemia. It's a moment of closure, but also a sombering realization that the true threat to Bohemia is much greater than any personal vendetta. As Henry's journey progresses, the game dives deep into the political intrigue of Bohemia. Sigismund's invasion has left the nobility divided. Some support him, seeking power or security in exchange for allegiance, while others remain loyal to Wenceslaus, risking everything to keep Bohemia free from tyranny. Henry, caught between these forces, must navigate a treacherous web of alliances and betrayals. The stakes are not just personal, they're about the future of his homeland. The game's political narrative is rich with nuance. Figures like Jan Hus, a radical priest criticizing the Catholic Church, add a further layer of complexity to Henry's understanding of the world. The Hus's ideas influence Henry, shifting his perspective from revenge to a broader sense of justice. As the story unfolds, Henry's journey is no longer just about his personal vendetta. It's about understanding the ideological struggle that will define Bohemia's future. Similarly, gameplay is not just a set of mechanics. It's an integral part of the storytelling. Combat is clumsy at first, but as Henry improves, so does the player's experience. Each parry, each strike feels earned. The skill progression system, covering everything from herbalism to combat, reflects Henry's growth. Dialogue choices, influenced by Henry's charisma and speech skills, further reinforce the idea that every decision has weight. This isn't a game where you just breeze through the story by mindlessly following objectives. Instead, every skill, every choice, every conversation is a step towards understanding Henry's evolution as a character. And just like Henry, players are constantly learning and adapting. The climax of Kingdom Come Deliverance's story is a brutal high-stakes battle where Henry and his allies make their last stand against Sigismund's forces. By this point, Henry has transformed from a grieving son into a leader, fighting for his people and his homeland. The battle is chaotic and unforgiving, a fitting end to a journey filled with hardship. And yet, despite the victory, the game refuses to offer a fairy tale ending. Sigismund isn't fully defeated, and Bohemia's future remains uncertain. In a somewhat surprising twist, Henry learns that Rudzik is his biological father, deepening their bond and giving new emotional weight to their relationship. It's a reminder that in Kingdom Come Deliverance, even the most personal journeys are intricately tied to the larger struggles of the world. Unlike most RPGs where you become a one-man army after a few level ups and a shiny new weapon, the combat here is grounded in realities of medieval warfare. When you first step into battle as Henry, you quickly realize that you are a mere blacksmith's son with no combat experience, and the game makes you feel that you lack this experience. The combat system is slow, clunky, and unforgiving, and sometimes it fucking sucks. Sword fighting in Deliverance isn't about button mashing, it's about timing, positioning, and precision. Each swing, each block, and each dodge requires deliberate movement, and the game demands your full attention. You can target specific parts of your enemy's body, head, torso, legs, and adjust your stance accordingly. The game's complexity doesn't stop at the controls though, it extends to the strategy. Fighting is about reading your opponent's movements, reacting at the right time, and waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. But if you think you can get away with spamming the attack button, think again. That's where you'll get killed faster than you can say medieval battlefield. As you progress, you will learn combos, and these are not simple button presses. They require precision and practice, and they're almost impossible to master without hours of training. Combat is tiring, frustrating, and sometimes feels like a slog. But that's the point. Deliverance isn't just trying to make you feel like a god. It's trying to make you feel like a real person who's learning the brutal art of war. And trust me, learning is hard. Armor and weapon choices add another layer of depth. Heavy armor offers more protection but also slows you down, making stamina management critical. Weapons like maces, axes, and swords all have their advantages, and learning when to use which weapon is part of the game's complexity. Combat isn't just about fighting the enemy, it's about picking the right tool for the job. Every fight is exhausting, but that is exactly what makes it feel real. Staying alive in combat is one thing, but you also need to manage other aspects of your life. Forget about the convenience of modern RPGs where your character can go for days without food or sleep. Here you are constantly reminding that Henry is a living, breathing, sleeping, shitting thing. Let's talk about food.
So this is our brave young man. Welcome, lad. Bohemia here will take care of you. No doubt you're tired and hungry.
Indeed. How could he not be, poor soul? After everything he's been through, he must be as hungry as a bear, aren't you, young master?
Henry has a nourishment stat, and if you ignore it, you're in for some trouble. If you don't eat enough, your stamina will suffer. But food isn't just as simple as picking something up and eating it. Food spoils over time, and eating spoiled food can make Henry sick. You'll find yourself hunting for fresh meat, buying bread from towns, and even cooking your own meals. Hunting isn't just an optional side activity, it's a necessary for survival. You'll need to prepare fresh meat, but if you don't eat it before it spoils, all your hard work was for nothing. Sleep is another essential mechanic. Henry can't just keep running around indefinitely. If he doesn't rest, he'll suffer from fatigue, and that impacts combat ability, stamina, and even conversations. Do you risk traveling through the night facing higher risks of ambush and reduced visibility, or do you find a place to sleep and face the threat of a delayed journey? It's not an easy choice. It's these decisions that makes Deliverance a constantly tense experience, because nothing comes easy. And then, of course, there's hygiene. Yes, you read this right. Kingdom Come Deliverance has a hygiene mechanic. If Henry is dirty or covered in blood, NPCs will treat him differently. They might refuse to help, or worse, mock him. Bathhouses are a functional part of the game, and cleaning up isn't just about aesthetics. It can improve Henry's charisma and even influence how people react to him in dialogue. This level of attention to detail makes the world feel lived in, and it reminds you that survival isn't just about your health bars. It's about the reality of daily life in medieval times. Henry does not start off as a hero. When the game begins, he's completely unskilled in everything from swordplay to reading. And let's be clear, KCD does not let you level up your skills overnight. Instead, it forces you to learn by doing. Want to improve your archery? Spend hours at the range or hunting in the wilds. Combat skills work the same way. There's no fast tracking here. You'll miss a lot of shots, fail at first, and feel like you're not getting anywhere, but the payoff comes slowly. As you practice, your skill improves, and you feel the difference with every shot that hits or every sword swing that lands. But it's not just physical skills that matter. Deliverance also has a deep social system. Speech, charisma, and reputation all play into your interactions with NPCs. If you're covered in mud and blood, don't expect nobles to treat you with any respect. But if you're cleaned up, donned some fine clothing, and improved your social stats, you might just talk your way into some helpful alliances. Every conversation, every decision feels real because your choices matter, both in the physical world and in the way you interact with others. Lockpicking and pickpocketing are two of the most infamous mechanics in Kingdom Come Deliverance, and for good reason. They're tough, but that's the point. These aren't skills that Henry can just master by pressing a few buttons. Lockpicking requires a steady hand and precision, just like in the real world. You'll fail a lot at first, and each failure will make you feel the weight of your task. But as you practice, the process becomes easier and more rewarding. Pickpocketing is equally tense, requiring you to time your actions perfectly or risk getting caught. These mechanics make Deliverance feel authentic, but they're also a test of patience. Alchemy, on the other hand, is a game within a game. Brewing potions isn't about mixing ingredients, it's about controlling heat, measuring, and following a recipe. It's a meticulous process, but that's what makes it feel so satisfying. Alchemy adds a further layer of depth to Henry's skill set, and crafting a potion feels like a meaningful accomplishment. Finally, we need to talk about the save system. KCD does not let you save anywhere. Instead, you rely on Save Your Schnapps, a potion you can either buy or craft, to save your progress manually. This mechanic is controversial, but it's a perfect fit with the game's philosophy. Life in medieval Bohemia isn't forgiving, and neither is the game. If you fail, you fail. There's no reloading and no easy way out. For some, this is a barrier, but for others, like me, it's a thrilling reminder that every decision counts. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a game that asks you to take its world seriously. It's not just about completing quests or leveling up, it's about surviving a harsh, unforgiving land. The combat is punishing, the survival mechanics are relentless, and every decision feels like it matters. Warhorse Studios has created a game that doesn't cater to the typical RPG player. It demands patience, attention to detail, and a willingness to learn. It's brutal, unforgiving, and deeply immersive, and that's exactly what makes it so unforgettable.